If you look up the definition of the word opportunity, it reads a set of circumstances that make it possible to do something. The Baltimore Ravens right now have a big opportunity right in front of them. And that, of course, is the Super Bowl. But how big is that opportunity, and how big or small will the window be for them to continue to have that opportunity? Well, we're going to answer that question on today's episode. But I couldn't do it alone. And it's been a while since we brought somebody on. So I figure we bring somebody on who can give us the bang, give us the dynamite. They can blow it up like nitro.
Yeah, this feels like a dream. And you know just what I mean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, he's a fan and he like the Ravens. And you know just what I mean. You two team, keep it clean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, that's my homie, ain't that right engraving.
Team, keep it clean. Really special guests in the building. My guy Nitro from the Wonderkin Show. Y'all may know him as Nitro. You may know him as the guy who interviews Lamar Jackson. He got a lot of different titles. But before we get into this video, let him introduce himself to you.
How's everybody doing? Y'all know what it is. The Wonderkin Show. Nitro chiming in on Ingravenvids. Glad to have him help me up here, and shout outs to you guys for being such a big support to the channel. Shout out to Ink for having me up here too. And if y'all thinking I interviewed Lamar by myself, he was there for the whole thing. I know y'all seen the video.
I was the Robin, you were Batman, so that's all you, man. But shout out to you, though, man.
Superman, bro. Batman is Superman, bro.
But nah, I appreciate you. I've told people on here to talk to you outside of all this too. Just again, appreciate you for being willing to include me in that, being willing to have me there. But even before we even knew it was going to turn into a Lamar Jackson interview, because obviously you had set it up for you to go to the restaurant and shoot the episode there. But I appreciate you allowing me to be in that space with you. So much love to you for that. Appreciate you looking out for that, and then it just ended up turning into something even better. So appreciate you doing that, man, because that was a cool experience, man. Obviously, yeah, man. So another cool experience would be just seeing the Ravens have a lot of success. That's something that we always appreciate. It's something that we always enjoy. When the Ravens are winning, everybody's just a lot happier. Well, especially Ravens fans, because you know how when Ravens are losing, stuff can get ugly. People are turning on each other. People are just calling each other out of names and stuff. And
yeah,
don't go on Twitter. Don't go on Facebook, especially. But don't go on social media, because it's nasty on there.
Them and Reddit.
But Reddit. I don't even look at Reddit.
Reddit the worst too.
I forget about Reddit, man. So I don't even check that. But when Ravens are winning, the world's a better place.
Yes, it is.
But Ravens have had a good amount of success over these past 5 years under Lamar Jackson. They haven't had the ultimate success, though.
Yeah.
But there's some people that feel like that window that was wide open before, we had the sun shining through. There weren't many rainy days. They feel like that window is starting to sort of close a little bit.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, he just got paid. So there's been people saying, oh, well, since Lamar's paid now, Ravens, they're going to be limited on what they can do. And you know what? Let's start right there. With Lamar Jackson getting his contract, which we were happy that he got it, which was great that he got it. And just to highlight that experience again, when we spoke to him that day, that was after he had already agreed to terms with the contract. He wasn't on no, I'm this high and mighty guy. He wasn't on no arrogant, none of that stuff. It was same exact Lamar, both before and after the contract. So we appreciated that authenticity. But how do you feel his contract impacts the Ravens' window of opportunity, if at all?
It does. Let's just be, it's a hard cap league. Like, this is why so many of us were so mad about how they built the team during his rookie contract.
Ooh.
Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. The Ravens wholeheartedly wasted the rookie contract of Lamar Jackson. Now, they've made up for it by paying him and keeping him on this to try to get this thing to see if they can still win and keep the train going. But they've wholeheartedly wasted a rookie contract where they could have surrounded this team with more weapons and they would have had better longevity if they would have did it along those times, because for one, players are cheaper. That's number one. And number two, you didn't have to pay your biggest prize, which was Lamar, at least yet.
Right.
And if you were winning, you could have talked it into him to taking him a little less to keep the team around him together. You get where I'm coming from? So, of course, him having this contract is going to be a little daunting because it hinders or hampers team building. Everybody knows this. I think that what's his name? Patrick Mahomes signed one of the most team-friendly deals in the history of sports, even though they said it was like $400 million or $500 million deal. Yeah, it was a super team-friendly deal. And because of what it's going to do to the cap, they're going to have to redo it either this year or next year.
Yeah, they're getting ready to rework that. So he's gonna get some more money.
So it's nothing. Listen, I'm happy, elated, delighted that Lamar got his money. But make no mistake about it, this was a mistake not paying him, but paying him so late on the Ravens. And guess what? We have to be able to deal with that now. This is part of it. You wanted to retain, you wanted to keep your window even slightly open. That's how you do it. You had to pay that guy. You had to keep him retained. Now you have to be creative with the cap to try to keep people under. But make no mistake about it. It's a big deal. It's going to be hard. Like, come on now. You see what receivers are making?
Yeah. They show all even receivers on the Ravens. But before we get to the receivers on the Ravens, you talked about how the Ravens, now they're going to have to get really creative, which they will need to be. But if this season is indicative of how the future can be with how creative they can get with the salary cap, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because the Ravens have started that creativity process. You know what? Let's just transition to the receivers now. Odell Beckham Jr. He is on a 1-year deal. He's on a 1-year, $18 million deal with 15. With $15 million guarantee. And that's just still thinking about that deal. Now, I love that we have OBJ. I love that we have a not just a receiver, but a player that is just known not only in the NFL, but just all over.
Superstar.
We have that.
Superstar. Yeah.
And for the contract that the Ravens gave him, I still think about it now, and it still shocks me that they gave him that much guaranteed money. I wasn't mad at it at all, but it still shocks me that the Baltimore Ravens actually gave a contract like that to a wide receiver, not a running back, not a tight end, not an offensive lineman, not a quarterback, but a wide receiver, because that's a position that the Ravens just do not pay like that, and they paid him. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They had to.
They did. Now with him being on that 1-year deal, we talked about the creativity. It's a 1-year deal, but it has 4 void years on the back of it. And the Ravens have not been avoiding void years this offseason, because there's some other contracts that have some void years tacked on the back of them too. Yeah. But with Odell Beckham Jr., we talked about the window with Lamar, but how do you feel about the window with Odell Beckham Jr.? Because it's very tricky. He's on a team this year, obviously, 1-year deal. But if he's not on the team next year, then the Ravens will get, and I believe it's about an $11 million dead cap hit for him not being there. So how you feel about the window with Odell Beckham Jr.?
1 year. 1 year. We got him for 1 year. We got him for 1 year. That's it. Here's my thought about this, right? Because no one knows. I don't got a crystal ball, and I can't be like, yes, the future. But when we're looking at this team, we know, historically speaking, that the Ravens do not like spending on the wide receiver room. We know that.
Right.
Okay. They were forced to because Lamar said, look, either get me this or I ain't coming back. Like, just be real. And that's why. And to tell you the truth, he said DeAndre Hopkins and OBJ. They gave him the cheaper option.
I love that thinking too by Lamar, by the way. But go ahead.
Exactly. So the Ravens are thinking, okay, we can't get you both, but we'll get you the cheaper option. That's OBJ, right? And here's the thing. OBJ is, as much as he might be young to us, he's not a spring chicken no more. He's not. Teams are going to be guarded and giving him the contracts in which he feels comfortable or wanting to take. You got where I'm coming from? They're not willing to just throw dollars out at him like they used to. So he's looking at this probably saying, okay, 1-year deal, prove it. I get to play with a great quarterback. It's all win for him. If let's say if he has a major drop off and he's not the receiver he used to be, well, he still made $15 million. He got to play with the all-time great in Lamar, right? And they're going to do well in the regular season at least. We all know that. Why? Because the Ravens don't lose when Lamar's on the field. Let's just keep it a buck. He wins 74% of the games that he plays in. Okay? So, but if they win, here's the kicker, Ing. This is what I'm trying to tell everyone. If they win, it's a guarantee he's gone. It's a guarantee. Because there's going to be another team, because then he would have how many Super Bowls under his belt? Two.
Yeah.
So now he already got the ring. At this point, he's just trying to secure his bag.
Wouldn't be mad at that.
You know where I'm coming from? So he's going to probably want a 2-3 year deal. And let's be real, the money for wide receivers is in the 30 million mark for the tops. The people under them is in the 20 million mark. Do you see the Ravens giving him a $20 million deal per year? You see what I'm trying to say? And everyone's going to say, no, he wants to be, because that's how Raven fans cope, because we've been dealing with this for a long time. Oh, he wants to be here. He'll take less. Everybody takes less to win. No, they don't. No, they don't, because he's already reached the mountaintop. If we win next year, twice. That means he has all the hardware. He wants to get paid, and he probably wants to accumulate stats at that point to solidify himself to be what? An all-pro or whatever else it is for what's it called, to go into Canton, to try to make a run at Canton, because it's been hard on receivers to get into Canton. You know what I mean? And that's probably what's going to be on his mind. Now everyone's going to say, well, playing with Lamar won't help that, won't hurt that. But at the same time, he still wants to make his money. So if he goes to a team that might not have the real chance of making it, but they have a good quarterback, but they're willing to pay him all that money, he'll go. So that's why I feel like we only have it for 1 year. And if we win, a lot of people don't realize when you win a Super Bowl, that's usually the biggest turnover that happens in 5-6 years of your team. Yeah. The only other time you can see big turnover happening is if you do so bad the coach loses his job and they try to clean house. The second most turnover you'll see outside of having an absolutely disastrous season and losing your coaching staff is winning the Super Bowl. The only team to retain everybody from a Super Bowl, I think, in the last 30 years were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And what happened to them after they did that?
Yeah, Ravens did it too, and after that 2000 Super Bowl, and they it didn't work out, man.
The last 20, whatever it is years. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's just the way it is. You always have to build. So, if you're trying to stay the same, you're lagging behind. You have to always try to get better. And I feel like, what happens if Bateman has a good year this year, right? They're gonna have to pay Bateman. Are you going to pay Bateman or retain him and also pay OBJ?
And that's a good question.
Where I'm coming from? Yeah. It's not a realistic standpoint. OBJ is here for 1 year. If hopefully God says no and touches him and he'd be like, I don't care about the money. Give me $7 or $8 million and I'll stay up for another year so we can run it back to back. If that happens, God bless him. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? But it's not likely because the Ravens do not like spending that type of money on the wide receiver room. It's a historical fact. It took the biggest star that they've ever had. And I know a lot of people get mad at me when I say that because of Ray Lewis and stuff. They are not a bigger star than what Lamar is. You get where I'm coming from? It took the biggest star threatening to leave to get them to get OBJ. Think about that real quick. So that's why I think he won't be here next year, Ames. 100%.
So you think OBJ could transition to another team possibly after this year, especially if the Baltimore Ravens win?
Yeah, they'll go younger. They'll have Zay, Bate. I mean, they'll go probably back to the draft. If we win, let's be real. Bateman is their number one receiver. People keep acting like he's not because he's been injured. When he's on the field, he's been electric. Him and Lamar have been amazing on the field together. Before he had got hurt last year, he was on pace for like 1,300 yards.
Yeah, he was
and they weren't even throwing. Yeah, they weren't even throwing the ball to him like that. Remember, compared to receivers with his yardage, his receptions were way low. But because every time he caught it, he was going for 30, 40 yards. You know what I mean? So they're banking on Bateman being what they drafted him to be. And if we retain Bateman, even to say we pick up his fifth year option, let's say we don't pay him fully next year. How much is his fifth-year option?
No clue. I don't even know right now.
But it's a lot more than he's making now.
Right. It'd be a nice little jump for him.
Exactly.
And Ravens, something that you brought up about the Ravens, they don't really typically spend money at the wide receiver position, which is true. But recently, they have been spending draft capital there. And you did bring up Rashad Bateman. He was a first-round pick from a few years ago. Rashad Bateman, he, of course, when he's been on the field, it's been nice. He has missed some time with a couple of freak injuries. He was somebody that he was healthy throughout his collegiate career. Yeah. So it's been unfortunate to see how the injuries have just hurt him over the past couple of years. So hopefully this year, for him, with Lamar, with just really everybody can be 100%. Odell Beckham Jr. too, just everybody. But with Rashad Bateman, there's this possibility that the window with Rashad Bateman could be closing because so much could change. We've seen it. We've seen it. Like with Hollywood, we saw it. He was here. He started off strong his first couple of years and whatnot, and then he wasn't feeling the offense like that. Asked to be traded for a couple of years. Then they finally granted him his wish. You talked about Rashad being the Ravens' number one if Odell Beckham Jr. leaves. But what about while Odell Beckham Jr. is here?
Oh, if they're on the field together, he's still number one. Lamar said it himself.
Oh, yeah, he did. That's true.
Yeah, Lamar said it himself. He said he's one. And I think Odell understands that. What Odell is coming in here to be is to be a leader, not only for the offense, but a name that the opposing defenses have to respect. He's more of a very sly route runner, like possession receiver at this course of his career. Odell is not what he was when he was on the Giants. But if we could even get 70% of what he used to be, then we're good. That's the thing. What we've seen with Bateman is Bateman has the size, 6'1", I believe he is. He has the speed, 4.3 speed, to get up, get off press, and get going. He has all the intangibles to be a true number one in this league. And he can learn and figure out certain little tidbits and tricks to the trade from somebody like an Odell who has seen every NFL coverage that you could throw at a receiver in real time. You got where I'm coming from? And he's been there. Not just to say, oh, he's been the best receiver or called the best receiver in the league at one point. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a champion, and he was on pace to be the Super Bowl MVP before he got hurt. So Bateman is number one regardless, but I think OBJ's work is going to be more on, the other side, and also Zay in the slot. You're going to want, that's how I think they're going to line it up. Let Bateman eat on the outside. You'll move around OBJ, and Zay is pretty much the third inside guy that is going to absolutely go to work on opposing linebackers and safeties.
Now, sticking with the wide receivers, we got a couple of guys who are either on one-year deals or in the last year of their deals.
Yep.
The first guy who a lot of people thought could possibly have been traded this offseason. Still a possibility. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't think it'll happen. But that is Devin Duvernay. Devin Duvernay is somebody that I just feel like there's been some flashes, and he's been more so a gadget guy throughout his career. I feel like his use has been very inconsistent throughout the years. I don't feel like the Ravens have fully played him to his strengths. Hopefully under new offensive coordinator Todd Monken, hopefully we can see that. But Devin Duvernay, his window with the Ravens could literally be closing because again, he's on a 1 year deal. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., like you mentioned, he's on a 1 year deal. Nelson Aguilar, he's on a 1 year deal. So they really redid the receiver room this offseason. They may have to really redo it again next offseason. But how you feeling about Devin Duvernay and Nelson Aguilar going into this football season?
I think Nelson will be here for 1 year, and I think Devin will be here for the foreseeable future.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
2 words: John Harbaugh.
Oh, special teams, huh?
Special teams. That man loves special teams. Why do you think Justice Hill stays on the team? That man loves special team players. Listen, and to make it worse, it's not like he's not great at special teams. It's one thing to say you're just a good special teams player. Devin Duvernay has been outstanding in the special teams play. Kick returning, punt returning. Remember, they were doing shared load back there between him and Prochet. And when they realized that Devin was absolutely electrifying, they said, Prochet, you better come sit on this bench. Remember, before Devin got hurt, they stopped kicking to him. Teams was rathering to say, look, we'll give you the extra couple yards, but we're not kicking to him. They stopped kicking to Devin Duvernay after a while because he was getting big returns or returning it. So, yeah, I think he'll be here for the foreseeable future. And because of his injuries, he'll be right around the price tag that the Ravens feel comfortable in paying.
That part right there. Yeah, that part. Yeah. I could see that because Ravens it's business. It's not just the Ravens that would do it, but they're going to try to take advantage of his injuries. Like, hey, look, you hurt. You want to sign this deal now? Let's just knock it out, get it out the way, so you ain't got to worry about it in the future. Let's go ahead and sign this extension.
And if he takes a step, what would be the plus on keeping Aguilar? If he takes a step forward, Duvernay, and he's great in special teams, he doesn't get hurt, and he becomes an even better receiver that he's been showing, then why would they try to retain Aguilar? Wouldn't they just go cheaper after paying a Devin Duvernay? You get where I'm coming from? Because you're getting more out of that player who's doing multiple stuff. He's worth more, but you're able to pay him less. That's the Raven way. Yo, yeah, man.
Now, speaking of this window, we're gonna flip it from offense to defense now.
Okay. Yeah.
And to me, it seems like the window is more open on the defensive side of the ball than it is on the offensive side of the ball because it's a lot less long-term question marks for now.
Yep.
You got Marlon Humphrey for the foreseeable future, of course. You got Marcus Williams. He's in the second year of a 5-year deal, I believe. You got Kyle Hamilton, who started off a little slow, a little rocky last year, but as the year went on, he just got better and better. You just signed Roquan Smith to a 5-year contract extension.
He ain't going nowhere.
Patrick Queen, though.
Yep.
What do you think about him?
What
do you think happens with him? What do you think his status is going to be after this year? What could go down with PQ?
The guy that they drafted, Simmons.
Oh, Trenton Simpson, I think.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Yeah. That's his replacement to me. Fast, super athletic. Here's the thing. PQ isn't playing right now, in my own opinion, for an extension from the Ravens. He's playing as an audition to whatever team wants to pay him the money that he feels that he's worth in this league. If the Ravens, this is why I said, at the beginning, if the Ravens win, it's going to be a massive overhaul. If we win, Patrick Queen's not coming back. He'll be a Super Bowl champion. He would have played on one of the best. Let's be real. The Ravens defenses are always usually stout and amazing. Mm-hmm. He would have played on one of the top defenses. At that time, now he's no longer viewed as a young buck. He's viewed as a veteran, right? And he would have had to have played at a high level for us to win, correct? Right. So he would have outpriced himself for Baltimore. So anywhere the else he goes, he's going in as a leader. He's going in to be the guy. Like, look, you know what I mean? You're a Super Bowl winner. You've played alongside great players like a Marcus Williams. What's it called?
Marlon Humphrey,
Humphrey,
Roquan,
Roquan,
Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters. So they're going to be looking for him to go into another team and to be a game changer, but also a vocal leader. And I think that's what he would want. I think that's what he would want. You know what I mean? He gets to go in and actually become a captain of probably his own ship. You know what I mean? And he'll get paid what he feels he deserves. The Ravens, like I keep saying, as much as we get on them for being cheap, it's a hard cap league. There's only so much dollars that they could put towards. They can't pay everybody. It's impossible. And as long as, I mean, everyone's going to be saying, oh, I want PQ back if we win, blah, 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 blah. Even if PQ leaves, the defense will be relatively in a very good spot. You're still going to have Roquan. You're still going to have Marcus. You're still going to have Humphrey. You're still going to have Ojabo. Like, like your core is solid. The defense is beautiful right now. The only part that we have to worry about is cornerback number 2. Who's stepping in that role?
Right, because right now our cornerback number 2 is on a 1-year deal.
Yes.
So that's a window that's sure the Ravens are looking through right now, and with a little bit of uncertainty, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Because right now I feel like after Rock Yassin, it's wide open at cornerback. You got Darius Washington, you got Pepe Williams, you got Jalen Armour-Davis, you got Daryl Worley, you got Kevon Seymour, you got Caillou Blue Kelly, you got Trayvon Mullins, you got it's a lot of names there. It's a lot of people there, but no clear number 3 and no clear number 4 corner as of right now. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, another window that could be closing. Coaching.
Hi,
John Harbaugh.
Yes. I was waiting for you to get to this. Yes.
John Harbaugh is funny because with John Harbaugh, it was a presser during this offseason. And he sort of joked about, like, hey, well, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be coaching for. And that's something that I've been thinking about from last year. Like, I wonder, like, and some people have brought it up in question from subscribers and stuff, like, I wonder, like, how long John Harbaugh still wants to coach for. How do you feel about that possible window closing?
2 years, 3 years max.
Oh,
here's the thing. John Harbaugh he's a Raven guy. At the end of the day, even if you don't like him, he's great friends with EDC. He's great friends with the owner, Bishotti.
Right.
I see him graduating like how they did Ozzie.
Oh, keeping him in-house?
Keeping him in-house.
Oh, yeah, you know Harbaugh ain't getting fired, man.
Yeah, he's not getting fired.
He ain't getting
you know
fired.
What I mean?
He's going out on his own terms.
Exactly. But there's one thing I've heard Harbaugh kind of say, reflecting on, a little more freedom, a little more family time and stuff like that. He said these things. So I could see him saying, I don't want to give up football, but I want some more time. A lot of people do not recognize what it takes to be a head. And even though I've been a very staunch critic of Harbaugh, it takes a lot to be a coach. The amount of hours when the players leave, they're still in film study. Before the players get there, they're in film study. Like the head coaches almost live at the facilities. You get where I'm coming from? So, you know what I mean? A lot of times you hear them saying, I missed out on this kid stuff. I missed out on this thing. I wanted more time with the wife. I wanted to go on vacation. Like, all these things are true. And I feel like with a John Harbaugh, if he gets a second ring, it puts him in rare company.
Oh, yeah.
It puts him in rarefied air. He would have had the longevity. He would have the wins. And he would have the rings. There's a lot of coaches that have all the wins in the world that have no ring, or have all the wins in the world and have one ring, like a Sean Payton. All the wins, all the statistics, the offenses, and all this stuff let's be real. The type of offense that Sean Payton has put up has been absolutely phenomenal, especially number-wise, statistically speaking. But with Harbaugh, if he wins this year, he would have the numbers, he would have the longevity, and he would have the hardware. And at that point, he's playing with house money. He could literally just look at it and say, look, I got everything, man. I got everything. And, you know, I just want more time with the fam. And I don't want to leave everything behind, but at least then he knows he's on a set time. Like, you don't got to be there all day. He goes in 7, come home at 4. Hey, babe. You know what I mean? And he can just do what he needs to do, get his weekends off. and I feel like that's a strong possibility for him now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do we know the future? No. But from my perspective, I think that's a very big possibility for Harbaugh. And I think by next year, they'll be starting to look for his replacement that he'll help pick.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah, he's been coaching for a long time. Since 2008, man. He's been coaching for a long time. There's so many teams, good and bad, but there's so many teams that have hired and fired coaches throughout that time period. There's some teams that have hired a bunch of coaches and just have been terrible. There's some teams that have hired a bunch of coaches and they have made it to multiple Super Bowls with different coaches.
Tomlin and Belichick.
But yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. And
another one?
It seems like Andy Reid, but he was coaching with the Eagles for so long.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And even he had to switch up. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Those three have been the constant, consistent bars that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, like, for all three of them, they going out on their own terms. They they ain't getting fired.
They're all winners.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere, man. Unless they end up 1-2. But my guy Nitro, unfortunately, the window for this video is closing now. I appreciate you coming on. Obviously, this is not the first and definitely won't be the last time we do this. Now, but before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you at Twitter, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff, wherever you want people to find you at.
Hey, y'all can find me on YouTube at The Wonderkin Show. New episodes every single day. So we keep on a very strict content level on that. And if you want to catch me on Twitter, I'm also there at Nitro_Quantum. We get live in Twitter Spaces. I see Ingraven there sometimes. We have fun. And like I said, we're building something special over at The Wonderkin Show. And I'm looking forward to what, this content creation has to offer. Definitely looking forward to it. And Ingraven, thanks for having me again, bro. You already know it's all love.
No, yeah, for sure, man. So appreciate you coming on. Team Keep It Clean. I know y'all already know who he is, but for some strange, odd, weird, unreasonable reason that you don't, now you do. We out.
Yeah, this feels like a dream. Darius.